Welcome to this tutorial. We're going to look at about macro, and someone will ask, why do you want to use macro? Well, you have Excel and you have everything that you can do in here. Well, macro is very important whenever you want to automate certain tasks. So that is why I would recommend you to use macro. So as you can see from here, we have automated some of the tasks. And if we can go back to the data that we are having here, we cannot be able to okay, like we can be able to automate, but it can be very tedious or very boring and monotonous whenever like you have to do the same task here. All right, so one of the things that maybe I wanted to show you is to use, when it comes to use macro. First of all, number one, we don't have macro tab over here. All right, you can struggle going through all this tab, but will not see macro over here. So to get macro loaded on your Excel, you have to come File, then all the way down to More, then click Option. Then I know this is really worrisome whenever you come to this place where there are so many tabs over here and so many checkboxes, and of course people don't want to mess up with this because it can ruin your day. So the only tab you have to do, or you have to press, is this Customize ribbon. And then after that it will bring up so many things. So come to the right side, the main tabs. We have so many tabs over here, but you go to the main tabs and make sure that this developer is clicked. Then after that you click OK. He just on bottom on your right side. Once that is done, so check what you see we have here. We have developer. So with the developer now here, we can be able to do so many things. So as you can see, we have the Visual Basics, we have macros, which we have one of the macros here. We can delete it first of all because this is not something I wanted to do right now. So what we're going to do with this, there are so many options here, but we're going to see some of them as we proceed. So first of all, what we're going to do is to format this data here. All right, but before we format this data, because we want to automate the whole process, we're going to click Record Macro. All right, this is not like the recording of cameras, so see how it works. So we click Record Macro and we're going to name it. Right, we can name it the way we had format, then hyphen. Make sure that you either combine the two names or you use a hyphen. Then after that you click OK. Once that is done, as you can see, we have started recording the macro. So the next thing that we have is just to make sure that first of all we separate these names so that we have like first names, last names. All right, so what we're going to do with this, we're going to insert a column just after A. So we right click and click insert. Once that is done, maybe we can call it last name. All right, with that name selected, with that selected, we can now highlight. With that created, we can now highlight all this data here, not the first name. We're not highlighting cell A1. It's just this from A2 all the way to A8. Then after that, we are going all the way to data, and then in the data we come here to text to columns. All right, so after that we click text to columns, and this will bring us to this point. We click delimiter so that characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. All right, then after that we click next, then make sure this is the ones that is selected space. All right, then after that you click next. So then after that you click finish, and as you can see, now we have first name and last name selected. So the next thing that we have is to make sure that we have something here which is like a condition formatting, which will put some condition in these cells. And to apply that very quickly, we're going to go to the Home tab and then condition formatting, and then check this. We're going to use greater than. All right, you can use less than, but let's do greater than with this. Then here we're going to choose the format cells that are range. If you have like a certain cell that can be used as a reference, that is okay, but let's go with something like if cell is greater than 100. all right, let it be red. You can choose many colors from here. As you can see, you can choose like green, fill, which I think might be good. So after that, then you can click OK. And as you can see, we have now our sales recorded. So the next thing, the condition formatted has been applied. So the next thing is to go back to the developer and then you click stop recording macro. So after we've stopped recording, the next thing is, say for example, we have like specific data, and that is why I wanted you to use to see this. You use a relative reference because of the place that is recorded. So for example, maybe we have some data like here. It cannot be applied until we use some relative references. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and cut this, and I'm going to clear this data. Right click, and then I'm going to clear content. Then after that, I'm going to paste this data. I'll come here and click paste this data here. So to apply what we had before, as you can remember, we have like macro which is recorded. So we can do two ways. We can just maybe we can just come here and apply, click macro, and then choose the macro that we have, assuming like we have lots of it, then click run. The next thing, and which is like a more fancy way, we can maybe record something like insert something like a button, which we can record from developer tabs as well. Then you come here, insert, and then you click this tab that is called button. Then after that, you draw where your button you want it to be. So like maybe I want it to be here. All right. Then I want us to apply this format data, all right, as the action to be done. Then after that, I'll click OK. You have the option to rename, which maybe you can say, maybe you can call it format data. Then after that, you can click OK. Remember, with this, you can edit the text. You can assign macro. If you can format control, where you change the colors and everything. As you can see, this is where you change everything of how you want it to look like. But one thing I wanted you to see is the action that will be done. Remember, I say that you can use macros, you run from here, or if you have like a button from here which you want to apply, check what will happen. If I click, it will format all this data. Just check this. As you can see, it has formatted this data, and it was so different from the one that we had before. So I'm hoping that maybe you've learned something about this macro. So I told you that one of the most important thing about macro, it helps you to automate the task that you have. Anytime you can always do the task as you've seen from now. This was a different sheet in sheet 3, and the other one was sheet 1. So I'm hopeful like you've learned something, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time, bye bye.